Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 199. I'm joined this evening by my co-host, Arne Burgess. Good evening, Arne.
Good evening, Matt. How are we?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. It's been a good week. Got out to play last weekend. Played League last night. Of course, yes. I completely forgot about that. We actually got to play on the same at the same time, which was fantastic. I very much enjoyed that. Yeah, a couple of laps around Berrenport. That was good fun. And then hit up the Harcourt League on Wednesday. Last night. Yeah, and shot 9:35. So I feel a bit chuffed.
That's pretty good shooting at Harcourt on a league round, right?
Oh yes, where the ratings can sometimes be somewhat harsh, but no, I very much enjoyed it. It was good fun. Feel like, you know, I didn't really play a whole heap in 2024 for reasons, and feeling like the game's coming back a little bit, and I'm able to kind of string some shots together, and it's not, you know. I don't make a complete pig's ear of every hole, so it's starting to come together. I think maybe at the right time. We shall see. I've got to contest with Brooker Ave and Bottle Lake, and I'm pretty sure they're going to smack me about next weekend. So we'll see what happens.
It's next week's just going to be a great celebration of the disc golf, right? I mean, people are definitely going to compete and they want to test themselves, and I do think that the combination of the two courses will be the best test for our national championships. You know, something that's open and wide and sometimes can be windy, and then one that's pretty heavily wooded. So. I think we're going to see the best disc golfer win each division.
Well, that's the point, right? That's the whole point of disc golf tournaments is to decide a winner. So yes, we hope that's going to happen. So look, we've got a great show for you lined up today. First up, we're going to go through some hot scores, and then after that, we're going to bring in Jack Maffey, who joins us tonight. Really pleased to have Jack on the show. Actually, his rise through the rankings this year has not gone unnoticed, certainly by the data analytics team here, and off the back of an RPM sponsorship and various other things. He's also played all of the recent TDU events, so we're going to get in. We're going to have a chat to him about his experience playing in MPO in all of those tournaments, and also his goals for nationals, which is coming up in a week's time. After that, we've got the tournament director of nationals, Jaye Pukepuke, will be joining us. He'll be talking through national setup, a little bit about courses and layouts, which have slightly changed. So stay tuned for news on that, particularly if you're playing in FPO or MA40. And then we're also going to be talking to him about a disc range. Did I hear you talking to him about earlier on in the green room?
Yeah, he was saying before in the green room that the final release of the Artua series. So you would have seen, he's been around for a while. The green Tane Mahuta, which was
I had a Tane Mahuta.
Yeah, and then the Tawhiri Matia, which is a Kahu XG. They're the two that have been released before, and then the other four are going to get dropped at nationals. And I'm pretty sure they're going to sell out at nationals, but so. Managed to hopefully secure myself a wee sneaky package before anyone else.
Excellent. Then we're going to go through the Brooker Ave course for nationals, which will be played in round 1 and 4.
Yes.
If you're in MPO, if you're in a professional division, MA1 or MA40, and will be played on rounds 2 or 3 if you're in any of the other divisions. The caddy book is available on the New Zealand Disc Golf Championship app, so make sure that you head over to your app store and download the app. It's got all of the caddy books and stuff in it. I've started filling out the hole notes on there. I don't know if you've seen this app on the app. And you can go into the caddy book and you can make notes on each of the holes to remind you what to throw.
Actually, amazing.
So yeah,
they had one for Topol Classic. I'm assuming they had one for all of the TDU events, but man, what an addition! Right, just something I was able to post some lost discs there and look through different notes, and they had all the announcements and all that sort of stuff came up there. So yeah, they've really stepped the game up in that category. So well done to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we've got you made a comment earlier on in the green room, which I have to take exception to, that I need some thoughts from the chat on, and that's which, and I feel I'm going to get outnumbered here, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Which is better, a meat pie, a mince and cheese pie, or a Cornish pasty? And I know I'm going to get absolutely destroyed by everybody in the chat, but I'm going to stick to my guns on this one, and we'll be having a chat about this a little bit later on. Disc Golf Valley is going, so head over to Disc Golf Valley and play along whilst you're listening to us chatting to our guest tonight. The code is G8 7Y is the code, so head over there and see if you can beat my +8 that I shot earlier on. I'm sure you can. We'll go through power rankings and the tipping odds for nationals as well. Is with such a huge field, it's so open, and there could be some big money wins this weekend if people are feeling frisky and go for the right place. So so we'll see how we get on there. Yeah, I think that pretty much rounds out the show tonight. So one last thing before we get going and we go through hot scores. Thank you so much to all of our Patreons. They really help us out and make the show a lot easier to run. Patreon.com/SweetChainLive. If you like what we do and you're getting some value out of the show and out of SweetChainLive.com, then you can head over to there to throw your support. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button. I saw a stat earlier on. This is a stat that was shared with the data analytics team rather than the other way around, by our producer Tom, who said that 25% of people watching aren't subscribed.
Disappointing.
That's
also noticed there's not a lot of females that watch us, but we'll fix that as well.
In fact, the vast majority of the audience seem to be people of the same age as me, you, and Morgan. Yeah, but there we are. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's go through hot scores. Arne, you're up first.
Whereas, all right, we head down to the south, and right at the bottom of the south, it does kind of look pretty similar to what it looks like every week down at Queen's Park and Invercargill's Tiaki, shooting 13 down. Over to Dunedin, Kelvin Cummings does what Kelvin Cummings does, 5 down at Dringford, 6 down at Brockville. Over to the Gardens, I thought we might have seen a sneaky American jump in here, but it is Stiffmeister is able to hold it down with a 13 down. I do know a couple of the pros played and went 12 down, so well done to Stefano. Over the hill to Lismore, Mundo McDisc holds on to a 10 down. Up to Jelly Park, Alistair Upston with an 11 down. Just a shout out for Jelly Park as well, that it is the last Sunday for those people that are playing in the pros to qualify for that initiative. Jump on. Over to Warren Park, Aiden with an 8 down, shares it with Phil Botha. Smallbone Reserve, Sam Hall with an 11 down, shares it with KBG. Queen's Park Reserve, Oscar Shepherd Morrison, 4 down with a Josh Mason. Then up to Nelson, where Paddy Ludlow with a 4 down, shared with Jet at Saxtonfield. And Alex Batten again with another 16 down at Brentford. How about we head over the water?
So starting in the capital at Berhampore, it's Boom Boom Brett Carlisle who hits 6 down, and he's going to be sharing the honours this week with Brady Cush. So very good score there, chaps. Over at Hikoikoi, Ben Morrison also hits 6 down at Petone. Up at Harcourt Park, Andy Davey hits an 11 under par at Harcourt Park, which is just insane. Across to Linklater, Galal Brazil hits 8 down, shot G, and up at Maryland's it's Andrew F who hits 3 under par. Across to Spa Park Black, Dan Pickerskill hits 3 under, and Henry Tran up at Henderson is the hot score for this week with a 5 under par. Jackson Sullivan went around Wood Hill and hit it for 9 under this week, and around Rosedale, the hot score was 2 under par by BFG. So congratulations and well done to everybody who hit a hot score this week. Now, I'd like to bring in our guest at this time is Mr. Jack Maffey. So good evening, Jack.
All right.
How are you? All right.
Yeah, pretty good, mate.
It's first up, it's great to have you on the show. I think you're a little bit quiet. I'm not sure whether that's something that our producer Tom can turn up his volume on. But yeah, look, Jack, it's great to have you on the show. And the reason why we were keen to reach out to you on to have you on, one, I think it's a little bit overdue, because you've been sneaking up the rankings recently. And I know last week, currently you're 21st in the power rankings, but that's following a bit of a drop from Auckland.
Yeah.
And so towards last year, you had this kind of steady rise off the back of picking up the RPM sponsorship. So, like, talk us through a little bit of that. Like, how have you found it? Was it that really kind of kick-started it, or do you think that just accelerated it, or how do you think it's worked for you?
I've been with RPM for like 3.5 years. So I think it's like more just the amount of play I've gotten. It's probably a trend with playing with people in Dunedin as well. That's when sort of Francis came down and I started playing a lot more with Isaac. So we've got a pretty good crew and we sort of all play together. And I think over the last year, that's probably the main thing, is that sort of crew playing with those guys has been pretty helpful.
Yeah, because you took out Wahitapu. That was the kind of the big event that that we saw you taking out, the one that that you'll probably remember. Also, you won Sub-Zero in MA1, and some strong finishes in MA1 Tucker Beach, and 5th at South Island Champs, which is also a great result.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this last year, it seems like pretty much every South Island tournament you're at, right?
Yeah.
So you travel a bit with Isaac, right?
Yeah, that's sort of our crew.
Yep.
Isaac and I travel together a lot, and Francis also. But yeah, mainly just Isaac and myself. We pretty much went to every tournament physically possible this year. Other than there was 2 events I missed at the end of the year because I was in hospital, so that's the only 2 I missed.
Not an excuse, mate. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it was awesome to watch you play at Sub-Zero, which was my first TDing experience. So, yeah, so you had the pleasure of that. But you coming back this year?
To Sub-Zero, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun course. I missed it the year after it snowed. So the second year it happened, I missed it, but then went back 3rd year, played really well. I always enjoy it there. It's a fun place. I grew up playing. Well, not playing. I grew up like going holidays to Twizel and stuff, so it feels kind of like home up there.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, do you think 2025 is going to be the same level of intensity as 24?
No, I think we'll see a drop of intensity and go for more quality than quantity, I think.
Yeah.
So I want to play good at every event I go to and not just play every event. I want to try and pick and choose some of the events as well, because it's quite a lot. I think I did 20 events last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's away every second weekend. And my bank account would appreciate not going to every single one of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, just one, Jack. Now that you've stepped up to the MPO, I think that's a simple equation, right? Just go to more and win more, and your bank account looks better. All right.
Oh yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, maybe I should just win more. Hard when Levi plays with you all the time.
Yeah. Although he didn't play a lot of tournaments last year, so you can just pick and choose the tournaments that he's not playing, and maybe I know it's a slip a laxative to Francis during the week or something like that. Yeah, that's how we get around.
Sounds like not a bad idea. Maybe I should just get better.
That's what's supposed to happen.
So you've played the 3 TDU events so far this year,
yeah,
and you've got nationals still to come. What's your experience of those events been?
I think the quality of the events has been pretty incredible. Like the just the organisation, and obviously I don't know, but you've talked about it already, but the apps have been pretty awesome. Like, yeah, I just remember having, I don't know, the experience has been it's been easy to play them, I guess, and that's pretty helpful as a player.
Yeah, just those little touches, right? That all the different clubs that are involved in those TDU events have put in. I mentioned last week around the just the number of spotters. How many times you go to a New Zealand disc golf course and we never have spotters, and this one they had every hole that you needed a spotter on, you got a spotter on, and it was one of those things where someone would throw a shot and then you're just looking at the guy waiting for which flag's going to go up because you can't see your disc, and then it's a big, and then, there was a lot during the skins where, they put up the wrong flag or it would land inbounds, the green would go up and then it would roll out and then the red would go up and a big sigh and and then the Jumbotron I thought was pretty special.
Yeah, that Jumbotron was pretty cool. Yeah.
Who
was definitely a standout.
Yeah. So let's get into some disc golf nerding. Who have you played with like that you sort of had to pinch yourself before you went on the card?
Well, Ezra Robinson's my favourite player, probably on tour to watch, full stop. And I got to play with him first round at Topor, so I was pretty nervous. It was pretty fun though, and he's such a cool dude. And I played a couple of practice rounds with him since, so it's been a pretty cool experience. But just everyone I've met, the traveling pros, they've all been like so nice and really welcoming, and just sort of happy to have a chat and things like that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even caddying for Sophia from Canada, she's been really fun. I caddied for her at the last event, and I don't know, she's been really good to chat with and just learn about like the tour life and things like that, because she's sort of doing half at the moment.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you there.
It looks like the tournaments were have been very well run, and the thing that I think is noticeable, and it's not that these 3 tournaments started this kind of trend, but they've certainly kind of carried it on and made a point of it, and that's that the small touches, you touched on it, right? They've really thought about what are the little things that is going to make a huge difference, so somebody at some point, and you don't just do this by accident, right? You've got to deliberately think about this. It's not something that you just sort of stumble around. Somebody has taken the time and effort to go through the tournament and think, if I was this kind of player playing in this kind of division, and I arrive at the tournament at this time and I'm staying here, what kind of things could I encounter in my tournament experience which would elevate it, right? And if you don't go through the process of asking those questions, then you don't get some of the things that that you've talked about as being kind of those little touches. So I have to say, tip of the cap to all of the tournament organisers. I've not attended any of the events yet. I'm looking forward to nationals in a week. But looking at the coverage and getting feedback from the people who I do know, and there's many of them who have attended, then the feedback has been sort of overwhelmingly positive. So yeah, well done to all of the TDs so far. That's great. Jay's got a the pressure's on, right? Because he's got the biggest job of them all. He's got to host probably twice as many players as the largest event so far, and it's also got the thing of nationals. You've got nationals coming up this weekend, not this weekend, same time as everyone else, Jack, in a week's time. You got any goals going into the event? What are you looking to do?
This one might be slightly unrealistic, but my goal this whole time on the Tour Down Under has been to get on the go through top 10 either at any point in the whole tournament.
Yep.
And I sort of had the chance and might have blown it, but Nationals is definitely going to be the hardest one to do it at. But I reckon that's my goal. That's what I wanted to do. So.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. That Nationals is the hardest one to do it at. Just given the strength of field, which we'll go through a little bit later on, especially when we go through our tipping odds. Given that you've been quite close to a lot of the traveling pros, and you've played on the same card as them, and I'm sure you've seen many of them play kind of live and in the flesh, perhaps more than some of our viewers might have done. Who's your pick to take out Nationals?
I haven't really played. I've played Bottle Lake once, so I'm not really entirely sure, but I hear it's like very wooded and touchy. And then I know Brooke is like placement golf, and especially in the wind. I quite like the idea of Robert Burridge. I feel like he's got good touch for the woods, and he's good at placement golf, as we saw at Inglewood. So I'm gonna go with Robert Burridge.
Robert Burridge, yeah. I mean, as he took out Inglewood on a playoff. Can Ezra Robinson, your favourite, can he go one better? I mean, 3 second places has got to be frustrating, right?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, he wants it. So
yeah.
I think he wants it more than most. I think. So I hope he does. I'm supporting him to do it. So well, come second to me, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be
one of those things for those players where the fact that he's in a new year, he's on holiday, he's with a new manufacturer, a new sponsor, he's got a new bag. Yet all the American Disc Golf podcasts just like to point out it just comes with the territory of being the third highest ranked player in the world, right? Where they just they're mentioning it's second place again. Must be bloody frustrating for someone like him. But I agree. I think I finally won my first lot of coins in tipping last week, and I picked Robert Burridge
well done.
to place. So thank you, Robert. And I actually picked Ezra to win and put some decent coins on it. And Big Jim really killed me on that, but that's all good. But yeah, I think it's one of those two that's gonna take it away this weekend.
Yeah. The only thing about Ezra Robinson's game is that I've not seen him throw the forehand a whole bunch, and I wonder whether that's a hindrance.
He's got a pretty solid forehand.
He's got a solid forehand, but isn't that the sort of thing about Isaac Robertson and and Ezra, his brother? They don't throw forehand.
No, I get that he's a pro,
working on it pretty hard, and I think he actually does have a pretty solid forehand. He just doesn't pull it out as much. As he might.
But I mean,
well, I just have to say, it's no slight to Ezra. I mean, his forehand is orders of magnitude better than mine, but still, it's something that you see some of the other players who he will be competing against, who have strong forehands as well as strong backhands. And his backhand is arguably the best in New Zealand currently. And so you could argue that might be enough to take him through, which we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know the course well enough to know whether it's a forehand dominant course, but I would say the last two definitely have been. Like if you have a power forehand, it's pretty helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So if Brooker's not too bad for a power forehand, then like if he can get away with it just being backhands, I think he has a pretty good shot at winning it.
Well, we shall see, because we're going to be going through the course a little bit later on, and we do have Jaye Pukepuke who will be joining us later as well. So, what's your plan for next week then? Are you getting down to Christchurch quite early, or what are you doing?
I'm going up because I'm from down south, so I'm going up. But I am going to leave tomorrow, and I'm stopping off at Waimate, staying with Papa G. I think he's watching, so shout out to him. And then probably go through on Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
And just go sort of figure out the courses. I've never played. I haven't played either of them enough, so I'm just going to sort of take it easy and play each of them every day. Probably sort of take some notes and figure out how to attack it.
So you've got a few days then to go through it and to figure out what you're going to do and all that. So that's good. That's good. Excellent. So, talk to us a little bit about over the 3 tournaments that you've been doing so far. You're obviously with RPM. Do you throw other molds that aren't in the RPM lineup?
Yeah, I bag 3 discs that aren't RPM, I think. So I've got a destroyer. I've got multiple destroyers, but destroyer's my distance driver slot.
Yep.
I've got a Brave.
Yep.
A Brave or a Crave?
Brave.
Or a Crave.
Yeah.
Like the Axiom mold.
Yep.
And a Zone.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
So everything else is RPM.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And what were you leaning on most during your time over the last 3 events?
It's been pretty windy, so mainly just the Kortare and Kutuku has been the go-to for me, really. Yeah, I putt with the Takpu, and the Pukepuke is probably my favourite disc, but I haven't been able to use the Pukepuke too much with the wind that's been going around, so it makes it always a bit trickier.
Excellent. What else have we got for Jack?
Did have some questions there, I forgot. Yeah, you sort of touched on the Dunedin crew. The Dunedin crew, I would say, being from Christchurch and from Queenstown Disc Golf Club, are one of the most annoying clubs to come to your tournaments because they win everything. What's the flavour there? Like, what's the special sauce in that club that's getting you around everyone else's tournaments and dominating as a whole club?
The club's just so inclusive. It's like a big family, and everyone gets along really well, and we all just share the great passion for disc golf. So we all just love it. And there's always, like, I think if I was alone more and I wasn't able to travel as much with like, if I was traveling solo to tournaments, I wouldn't do as many. But because there's always going to be some Dunedin crew going to. As long as it's within 5 hours, there will be at least a few others going.
Yeah.
So I feel like that just helps, and then that obviously accrues and just builds your big crew traveling all the time.
Yeah, good point. So
Makes a.
Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, it makes it a lot easier to figure out accommodation and like how you're going to transport and all that kind of stuff if you can chip in and share the load of organising and paying and stuff.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, especially
they're a great crew.
When you've got a good balance as well, like you've got good MPOs, good older people, some good female players, so there's that good sort of balance of everything, right? So I mean, Ewan's going to kill me, but me and Ewan have got something for the Dunedin crew this year. We'll be coming out with a teams tournament in the south that'll be inviting the clubs to. So just keep an eye on it for Team Dunedin, because we've created it purely so that we can try and get another club to beat you guys. So
Team Dunedin's going to win that.
Yeah, we're putting a ratings cap of like whatever Francis is one below. Yeah.
Be interesting to see who Levi plays for. Whereas Allegiance lies.
Mate, he wouldn't be allowed back into Invercargill if he played for Dunedin.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised.
I think that's going to be a real interesting tournament when it comes around, like, because there's a lot of places that would I think fancy themselves in there.
Yeah. Look, this is obviously a bit of inspiration from the Flying Kiwi, without the S. And there's been I follow a lot of American podcasts, and Brodie Smith can't stop talking about team disc golf. And then when I think about team, I think about clubs in New Zealand. Obviously, I'm on the NZDG board, and if clubs are doing well, then disc golf's doing well. So anything that we can do to get clubs operating the way that Dunedin and some of our other clubs do, the better. So really looking forward to it. But you guys have got a target on your back, that's for sure.
Bring it on. We ain't losing.
There you go. So we'll hear more on that. Look, Jack, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's been a bit of a short chat. We've got a few bits to get on tonight, but look, very best of luck with the your planning, your preparation, and the run up to nationals, and of course at the tournament. I'll see you next week. I'm sure over the course of the 4 days.
Yeah,
so very, very best of luck. And thanks so much for dropping in.
So a big shout out to RPM Discs and my sponsors, Disconnection, as well. They help me do what I do in all the tournaments. So yeah.
Do you want to give a wee plug?
Thank you very much for having me.
You sort of mentioned Disconnection, like give them a wee plug. Dunedin does well, but what's the deals with them? They have pretty good shipping times and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they're great. And if you use code Jack5, you'll get a cheeky discount as well.
Oh, there it is.
Here we go.
We'll pop that into the chat as well, so that you can head over to Disconnection and sort yourself out with some new plastic.
Yeah, they've got some new stuff coming in. They've got some different companies as well, like Stokely Discs and stuff like that haven't quite made it over to New Zealand that I've seen. So yeah, definitely check them out.
Good stuff.
Fantastic.
Cheers, mate.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jack. We'll catch up next week.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Ciao.
Hey, what a guy, eh?
Indeed. He's been playing just sort of slowly but surely, been like grinding away, and has found himself in the top 20. It's
what amazing. I like about Jack is, how you and Morgan and me sometimes we have that conversation about the MA1 stepping up. And he's an example of a guy who, he played MA1 and he was winning some and not winning some, but then he'd step up and down. And, I think he's at where he needs to be now in the MPO, because once the Americans go away, then he's definitely competing, right? So,
yeah.
And so, I'd love more of the MA1 players to follow in the footsteps, right? And so we can get our pro divisions up, and our pro divisions being bigger means our pro purses are bigger, and Jack can go to more tournaments because he's winning more. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see. He won Wahitapu against a pretty strong field, right? So in that field, Sebastian Faulkner, Stephen Reed, Isaac Howard, Sam Lycan. There was some strong players in that field. So it was it's no accident that he's.
Yeah, I mean, there was a fellow that didn't have the best weekend that weekend. He ended up down the bottom of MPO, but very handsome man. Jack also beat him as well. So yeah. Hey, can I just do a real quick 1 second sidebar and give a big shout out to Mr. Big Arm Kevin Carpenter for finishing second in the Samui Swine. With 10 under, he tried his hardest to chase down the leader and ended up taking a double bogey throughout. But yeah, it's Yeah, guy, he's what's his average? His event average playing 60 over his rating in a different
Oh
country.
wow!
So yeah, no,
Wow.
well done to Kevin, and he shared the hot round. Stevie Reid came third, but he also shared the hot round with Kyle Barringer, Team Generation represent, 10 down. But yeah, Adam Rhymes playing over there. This is the AM event. The pro event starts tomorrow, so you'll see the likes
Yeah.
of Adam and whatnot play. But maybe Kev needs to think about stepping up. Need I say Sam Bagger? I can get away with that. But yeah, well done, Kev.
Fantastic, fantastic. Right, we're going to bring in our next guest now. And our next guest is the tournament director of Nationals, Jaye Pukepuke. Good evening. Good evening, Jaye.
Kia ora kurua. Kia ora.
How are you?
Busy. No, I'm good. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you got much to do over the next week?
Bugger all.
Yeah, a couple of things. Yeah. We're tracking pretty good actually. So yeah, we've had plenty of time and yeah, so we're actually doing pretty good for next week.
Because this tournament is set up to be the largest in New Zealand's history. If you get the numbers which are signed up at the moment, which no reason to say that you won't, which I think is at like 40 people will have to drop out. It's quite significant. It's like 289 players, I think.
296.
296. Outrageous. Do you have room for 300? I know it's just because it's just a round number, right?
Well, yeah, it was 288, which was 144 at each course. And then I thought, man, we can just start or finish 15 minutes either side, and we can get another 12 in just to get 300. So
yeah,
four spots left.
4 spots left.
So registration is still open. If you're sat there and you're not playing Nationals on, then get yourself involved.
Oh, the thing is that I have to consider the value of my marriage and my family. Because if I don't go to my sister-in-law's wedding, which I'm now the MC at, I won't have a wife to come home to. So and she's got my truck at the moment, and I care about that truck more than I care about her and the whole family. So but yeah, I have no doubt you'll get those 4 players. It'll sell it.
Yeah, we've had like 25 pull out already. So we had like 320 regos.
Wow.
We didn't expect that, but
well, it's not just player entry that I'm impressed with. I like your cast and crew. I mean, obviously you've got all your bros crew and the Watkinson whānau and all that sort of stuff, but if you look through your staff on the Disc Golf Scene page, the collaboration across everyone that you've brought in to help out across the TDU staff, you guys, Jay, you've now got Ewan on as a rules official, but then I also see you've got Hayden Shaw down as an MC, so you've got anyone involved in that tournament to come along and really showcase what Nationals is, right?
Yeah. So we're still building. The idea is for me not to do anything on the days. Just try and point the finger. So you might see more and more people come in if it's better to have 20 people doing one job than me doing 20 jobs. Yeah. So
totally.
That's my process anyway.
So you had a few guys out on the tools today. Ewan, if Ewan's boss is watching, he was sick at home, but Ewan out on the tools with a few other boys.
Yeah, Ewan actually came out today in push mode, 23 greens.
Oh, wow.
10-meter circles. So The problem is they'll probably grow back in a week.
Yeah, well, there was a comment that was in our Disc Daddy's chat that someone said to you, and what's Jay paying you, a pig or something?
There's potential.
Sorry.
So Jay,
he just decided on his own back. He'll just cut. I think he had some spare time, so he just came down with the mower. We've been down there for weeks, trying to keep it manageable for next week, because as you know, it kind of like blows out.
Yeah,
it's a red zone, and the council kind of left it behind. So if we don't do it, we need some sheep in there or something.
Well, that would definitely give our international guests a bit of a culture experience. So why not, eh?
And then we can eat them.
Serve them up for lunch. Yeah, that's a good one.
Jay, I just want to touch on something you mentioned about having something that I mentioned about having a big team there. Your kind of day job when you're not organising nationals, for people who don't know they might not have spoken to you or know exactly what it is that you do. But do you want to talk us through Bros for Change, like what all that's about, and like what your role in it is?
Bros for Change is a youth organisation. So we take kids in, probably about 20 to 30 kids a year, and we work with them intentionally over that whole time, and we're just sort of building their life skills. We take them on adventures, build their confidence and their CVs, and just give them experiences. A lot of them might not have dads or those socioeconomic circumstances or crime or whatnot. So and it's I'm pretty much just reliving my childhood. So it's pretty fun, and it allows us some freedom to do some things. Disc golf is part of the program, not just playing, but maintenance.
Yeah.
I think you've touched on something there, because I do believe that disc golf is objectively the best sport, and part of the reason why it's so good is that you have this element of what Bros for Change does, right? Where you can spend time outside with people having personal interactions, and that's something which you don't necessarily get so much of in other sports. Have we frozen Jay? I mean,
I dropped out of the call. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks like he has. Man.
Okay. All right. We'll try and get it back in.
Picture for him to finish on, though. Like,
yeah, indeed. Do you want to snip that? I don't know.
PDGA for his PDGA thing.
But he's got a lot on, Arn. And so whilst we probably just go back to me and Arn until we bring Jay back. He's got a lot on over the next week.
Yeah, look, and a shout out to definitely the many hands that help him out, but that's just one course as well. So you've got a whole nother entire forest course to deal with as well, and obviously the Watkinson family are pretty heavy into they pretty much work on it all year round. So, but they've got that's actually in a there's a park ranger for that forest, so they get to use some of their tools and all that sort of stuff. So whereas with Jay, he's teaching these kids how to build retaining walls and use power tools and things like that. They're going to be able to potentially use that in the real world as well. Then,
Yeah.
on top of that, teaches them to go hunting and fishing and all that sort of stuff, which is pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic. I see some of the photos on his Instagram pages, and it's like, man, I wish I could go on that adventure. That looks real good fun. So what we're going to do is we'll until we can get Jay back, we're going to go through some of the Brooker Ave holes and courses. Now, this is a picture of Brooker Ave before the earthquake. Or an aerial view.
Yep.
And we've probably got an after pic that we can show as well at some point. But if you can see a house in that picture, it's no longer there.
Yeah.
And
there's some stuff up in the top left corner.
Top left corner. Okay.
Yeah, where Tina Himmel lives. So if anyone's looking for a feed after the 7th hole, you can just pop down the road to her house. Yeah.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that. So majority of it is red zoned land. So when the earthquake happened in Arn, remind me of the year again.
2012. 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
A lot of the land had to be couldn't be used to build on, and so all the houses were knocked down. And what we were left with is a network of roads and fences and hedges and trees that were all natural features. The roads weren't, but the hedges and the trees were, that have been left, and it actually sets up to be a pretty good disc golf area. I'll tell you, I had an experience. Do you want to know my first experience with Brooker Ave?
Sure.
So it's the Peter Crowther Memorial down in 2021, right? And they've got we played Brooker Ave and Queen's Park. And so I went round with I got there on the Friday and played a practice round with Phil Botter. And so we turn up and the weather's lovely. It's gorgeous weather, right?
Yeah.
And so we played 2 practice rounds, and my combined score for the 2 practice rounds was 7 under par, right? Including 1 6 under out of the 2 9s, right? So I shot 6 under and 1 under. 1 under on the first round, 6 under on the second round, right? And then the tournament comes, and the wind decides to blow.
Yeah.
And in that round at Brooker Ave, I shot plus 12 over the 18 holes. So I had a 19 shot swing from one day to the next. That's my experience of Brooker Ave.
I think we've got Jay back now.
We do, yes. Excellent. Sorry, Jay, you dropped out there for a second, but you're back now.
Yep, I'm back.
I don't know how much you caught of what we were talking about, but I think that disc golf really plays into the Bros for Change kind of culture really well, because it's outdoors. It's something that you're battling against yourself. It's a mental game as much as a physical game, and I think that's got a lot of synergy with the work that you do at Bros for Change.
Yeah, I mean, you can just like walk and chat as well. It's not like sitting like talking about feelings. You can just out there and have a bit of a competition. Always inspires someone to get up a bit. So yeah, it's a good fit.
So make sure you go and follow Bros for Change on all of their social channels. So you can see how they getting on. I was talking to Arndt just while you're gone. Some of the stuff you get up to looks like great fun, and I'd love to sign up and be one of your kids for a year. But I don't fit into the demographic. I'm a little bit old, I think, for all that now. But it does look great fun, I have to be honest. So anyway, back to the disc golf. There's been a few changes to the layouts that were initially published. Do you want to just talk us through what those changes are, where they've come from, what you've landed on, etc.?
Yeah, so I've spoken to two people actually. I haven't spoken to, but I've heard from two people. They're both looking at the distance of Brooker for the MPO or the red long T layout.
Yeah.
And it does look, well, it is long. But there is a like a hot tip. You think because it's long, you got to stand up there with a driver and throw 100 plus meters, but don't. Like
No, I agree.
When it's a par 4 and a par 5 shots to get there, not 2 or 3. So it comes down to a word that Simon used on the weekend, Simon Feasy, and it's called control. Although it's fun to throw a big hyzer flip or spike or Anheuser flex shot, it's sometimes not the best option.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting to see which players can resist the temptation.
Yeah.
That undoubtedly will be there. And
Okay.
I'm talking about I'm not talking about players that are going to be in the top 10, because I think that they do have the ability to throw whatever they want, and there's probably going to be there's potential for a few eagles out there, because they're very capable of throwing those kind of distances accurately and in a wind. What I was saying to Phil on the on our round on yesterday was, and I'm not sure I'm going to throw anything more than a speed 7, honestly. I don't. Well, that's one thing. The other thing is that I won't ever get tempted into throwing that big drive, because it won't, like, I don't really stand to benefit at all from it, because my distance, even with that big drive, is still probably only going to be about sort of 80 meters away, and so it's not going to be shouldn't be too much of a problem, and it means that I can lay up to a lot of the Mandos that are on the course, which is a relief.
Well, I think it's going to be really exciting, especially for the MPO lead coverage and the battle, right? Because you do have your smarter players that maybe don't have the bigger arms, but then when it comes down to it, they're going to back themselves, and so someone with a lead might go for a control shot and just play control golf and look to par and birdie, and that opens the door for those eagle opportunities for the people that are down below, so this amazing term called score separation, right? And we spoke to Goose about it last week, right? Around, he thinks that in a ratings capacity, you're going to see pretty level ratings at Bottle Lake, because the lines might not be there for the big eagle looks, or everyone will pretty much throw the same line, same things. Where at Brooker, you can get them inventive, right? But it's not just that. I mean, this is my hot tip, and it's going to be full of them tonight. Brooker isn't just about staying in bounds as well. You can throw an amazing controlled straight drive and then end up behind this annoying bush and being right at the bottom of it, and it's just thin enough that your disc can get to the bottom of it, and you can get a foot to it, but you've essentially got no other shot than to just throw it over to there. So, and that's where it's such an amazing course, because you've got the OB to contend with, you've got the wind to contend with, and then you've got the fact of actually, where do I want to land as well. So it's not just about the shot you're throwing, it's about the next shot and then the shot after that. Which is how I think disc golf courses should be designed. Right?
It's a little like back history in the way it actually came about. Obviously, there was one there, but there's nothing there. It's just like bare flat land playing through people's old backyards, and so with roads going through everything, so we just had to work with what we got, and we pretty much cut out using the whole area So the style of play had to be like quite a boring golf style, because everyone likes to do cool shots. Not everyone. They like to watch the disc fly, and you can watch it fly.
Yeah.
OBs, but
Yeah.
you got to know when to pull the trigger, and you got to know where your landing zones are. I know where they are, but doesn't mean I can hit them. So I think a practice round there is really important. And it's not about distance, because I almost did a PB with one disc in Kotuku. And that was just by not going OB. Wasn't throwing far, but it wasn't going OB, and I think it ended up +3, which is not bad with one disc.
So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, because the winners will be the people who get tempted into trying the big shot and pull it off.
Yeah, well, and there's lots of swing holes where you can lay up and take your par potential birdie, or you can go for it and go for the birdie, and then
yeah. So what do you think will be the winning score in MPO then? So Brook Around's the first tournament, the first round, sorry. So what do you think is going to be the leading score in MPO after day one? This time next week, what's the leader going to be sat on?
Well, Kelly Thompson shot an unofficial 12 birdies at Brooker with 4 bogeys. That's -8. I reckon that anywhere near that would be lead card for the pros.
Yeah.
That there should be a couple of eagles in there, easy for them.
So you reckon double digits is possible?
Double digits is there. Depends if the wind is there. But double digits is definitely there.
Yeah.
It's obviously
and definitely there for the green.
Yeah. It's obviously a completely different course. There's lots of new additions and whatnot to when Drew came there, but when he came, there were a few similar-ish holes, and it was pretty calm weather, and he showed what you could do on a similar-ish layout. Was 39 down across 3 rounds, so. So if the weather's good and the quality of disc golfer is high, I definitely think you can see some low numbers. But it's MPO in the afternoon. That easterly wind off the Brighton coastline comes in, and it's beautiful.
Normally headwind off hole 1. I do have a question though, like if you're MA40 playing the long course, and you think it's too big, if I get, I've got another layout, so which is a combination of both red and green.
Yeah. Which is the amber layout on the app, eh?
The amber layout's there. Some people will like the reds, some people won't. I mean, there's always going to be someone, but just let me know what your thoughts are on it. It's double-sided. Some people like, everyone likes to get birdies. Some people like a challenge, and it's definitely a challenge. If you want an easy course, there's like Queen's Park around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Look.
Well, from a personal perspective, then I would, I personally would prefer to play the red layout as an MA40 player, and I was quite looking forward to that. Not least, there's certain potential implications to ratings and propagators, etc. if you play on a different layout. But the other thing is that I've done a little bit of research on the red layout, and I've kind of started to plan what I'm gonna do. Obviously, I won't know until we get there on Wednesday morning and get out for a throw. But looking at if the chat's anything to go by, one MA40 vote for the long layout, one more for the red, one more MA40 for the long layout, please, Jay. So I mean, yeah, you've got 4 votes there from MA40 players. You may have different views from the ladies.
It's one of those things where I think the MA40 being the best division, we're also the smartest division. So we'd already worked out that we weren't playing to par. You know, for certain holes, maybe if it's par 5, we're pretending that's a par 6. So we're having this discussion earlier where I think an MA40 leader, Brooker, is probably, if you're doing in single digits over par, you're playing really good golf. Really, really good golf. And there are players in that division that can do that. But yeah, I think plus for the MA40s that maybe don't have the arm or don't enjoy that long golf, they've got MA2 or MA3 to go and play as well. So the MA40, such a good division because you've got so many options of where you can go and play. Those options are a little bit more limited for other divisions, but I know that the FPO, some of the FPO have concerns over it, and that's, I can't really speak for them, but and then this is all personal stuff as well, personal opinions. If you take the MA40, I would say the majority of the MA40 would want to play the red layout. So if you take that division out, then it leaves the FPO as a standalone within a division within a layout by itself. And I think that our visitors may have a few ratings concerns potentially. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be seen as speaking for other people though, so these are just personal concerns. So as Jay said, reach out
and put it in the chat. Let us know in the chat if you signed up for MA40 or for FPO. Then pop it in the chat. What would you like to see the layout being? You've got 5 votes for the red layout from MA40 and none against so far. So we'll keep a track of that.
Can I just say something from an NZDG tour director point of view? Because I have had a couple of messages through. Look, I can't. We as NZDG, we've picked Jay and Jaden to host nationals. Well, the last pool did, and it's their decision to run the tournament that they want, right? So we're not going to influence. If we get asked for opinions, I'm the wrong person to ask. You should probably ask you, and he's far more experienced. But definitely reach out if you have concerns. Then we can address it in due course. But we're not going to make fundamental changes to the current tournament. They've worked too hard on it for too long to get it to a point. And we've just got to sit back and enjoy the fact that we're probably going to have 300 people playing in New Zealand Disc Golf Championships in a week's time. And, I'm looking through the field now. Yeah, it's a massive female field across both courses, not just pros. That's a decent sized junior division for our national championships, because juniors is not necessarily a division, a set of divisions that is well represented at nationals. There's not usually too many players, so to have 13 players playing at a junior division is incredible as well. So
yeah, that's a lot of food to feed as well.
Yeah, definitely. You always put on a good cry at the Bros for Chains, though, bro.
Different kaupapa this time.
Different kaupapa. Yeah. I'll never forget you rocking up to Hamner that morning, and we're setting up the course, and you've got 2 pigs on the roof. They didn't go on a barbecue lunch though, but
They could have. They had umbrellas, so they were all good.
Yeah. No, all good. Matt, can I ask, have you got any more questions about the course?
No.
Oh, I just wanted to lean into a bit of a disc golf geek couple of questions from my point of view, and that's the RPM Atua series. That's a collab between you and RPM, or Bros for Change and RPM?
Yep, a 100% collab between RPM and Bros for Change. And the idea came from me wondering why all the birds on their disc were named the Māori name. The connection was, and then so having discussions with Jacko and Simon and Keith, it was I put across a perspective of let's if you're going to connect it, let's really connect it. So we connected a series of atua that connected to their birds in terms of the disc, the color, the story, and even the art, the stamps. It all connects to the bird that RPM came up with. So I mean, it's not everyone's thing, but it's my thing, and
that's cool, bro.
And I'm going to finish it at nationals. I mean, why not do one more thing?
I mean, I'm so happy that you're finishing it, because I have the 2 that you've released already, and I'm sure many people do. So I'm really looking forward to the other 4 coming out. 4? 3?
3.
3. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my little pack, hopefully, to go alongside my Ephraim Russell 5-pack that I have as well. And yeah, really doing. So do you want to show us what we've got in store?
I may have a couple here. This one is it free?
Oh yeah, that is you probably can't see it, but that is Tū Mātoenga, I believe. Tū
Mātoenga.
Cool. So
yeah.
I'll give the Māori version of it, I suppose. So Tū Mātoenga is the god of war and conflict. Correct me if I'm wrong, bro. But what's the linkage to the disc or the bird that it's taking over?
So god of war. That I linked it to the Pukepuke, as in a blood-sucking vampire bat. And the colors are all dark, and the stamps are sort of like a bat and like a night bird, and that's why we've got the dark colors and the dark colors of stamps, and that's my favorite actually.
Yeah.
This is disc number 1.
Disc number 1.
So it's like sort of gold, the foil. They got some cool new like shatter reflector foils coming out, but that's number 1.
Right. That's number 1. Show us number 2.
Number 2 is Ruomoko.
Ruomoko. Okay. So god of earthly things or earthquakes or yeah. What's the what it all there?
Volcanoes and
volcanoes,
and earthquakes, and Ruomoko is the youngest atua. The young, he wasn't even born. That's why he's in the earth. He's like the unborn.
Okay, yeah.
And so the rarest bird that RPM have, or the rarest bird in New Zealand, is actually the taraiti.
Taraiti. And it's their newest mould, right?
Their newest mould. So, and it comes in, obviously, if you saw the core of the earth, you'd be probably glowing.
Yeah.
So it's all like a glow color, reds and blacks and oranges. Number 1.
Also number 1. I have a feeling that no one's getting those.
Yeah, probably not.
And the last, Hangaroa.
The last one is Tangaroa, which is the ocean.
Yeah.
So he's the atua of the ocean, and the obviously RPM's bird is the takapu, which dives into the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that's the connection there. All the colours obviously are colours of the ocean.
Yep. Power, like a power shell, almost like, eh?
Yeah, that is. They're all blue, and they've got different bluey, greeny sort of shadow foil stamps. And
So I learnt something the other day that so from where I whakapapa, which is up north, Ngāti Whātua, our Māori creation stories, Rangi Nui, the Sky Father, and Papa Tuanuku, our Earth Mother. I learnt with Kaitahu or Naitahu that Tangaroa is actually the first husband of Papa Tuanuku. She's not Tangaroa in my story is one of the brothers. But for Naitahu, I hear that it was the first husband, and Rangi Nui is the second husband. So quite an interesting. Yeah, the ex. Yeah. So yeah. But those are mean. So you're going to have how many? You've only done a smaller run this time, right?
Yeah, there's only 100. We just wanted to finish the run. We've been sitting on them.
Yeah.
All the stories the whole time. So now's the time to finish them off and sort of move on to the next. But so there's 300 in total, 100 of each. We also have leftovers of Tāwhiri and Tāne Mahuta. So we might do a set of the new 3 deal, or I take hapuka or crayfish as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, definitely. I'm definitely keen. I've already got 2, but I want that 5-pack to go on the old ball. So you'll be getting a message from me, no doubt. But yeah, people get along to the Bros for Change stall and get yourself some history, some stuff that's never going to happen again. So yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent. Right, I think Jay, we've more or less covered everything that we wanted to cover tonight. Thank you so much for joining us and for updating us. Just for anyone who's might still be a bit of confusion with regards to the amber layout and when a decision over a confirmed decision over what course which divisions will be playing, how will that be communicated?
So I've just been thinking a lot over the last sort of 30 hours around it, and I just need to hear what everyone thinks, and then we'll either have it or we won't. So, or FPO could just have it, but we haven't heard from.
But that'll be before Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Give me another 30 hours and I'll keep it or I'll cut it.
Okay.
Because people need to prepare mentally what they're doing. So
yeah. Look, I'm speaking out of turn here. It might be creating a little bit of work for producer Tom, but maybe we could do a social post, a Facebook post, or something with a poll for people to vote on, maybe, or something like that to just push out that message. So if that would help, we can do that and see what people think. Not that it's going to affect it, but I mean, you've got some big brains involved in your operation, right? Hayden, one of the best tournament directors in the country, so he'll be able to give you some advice and just do you decide and back it, and the NZDG's right behind you. So good luck. I just want to, if you wouldn't mind, Matt, I'll to say the last word. So, e te whakamutunga I tēnei pō, ka mihi ki a koe te rangatira moto tēnō mahi nui I tērā wiki, I tēnei wiki, Yeah, Ngamihi. Thanks for all your work going into next week. The entire disc golf community really appreciates it. There's always going to be people that have an opinion and do stuff, but it's you're going to go awesome. You've got the right people around you. So good luck next week, bro. Cut a few up.
Yep. Thanks, John.
Cheers, bro.
Okay.
Cheers, Jay. See you next week. Oh, right.
Good one.
We've got it's going to be such an intense week. I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. I know that Jay and his whole crew are going to put on a fantastic show. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Now, right, we've got a quick message from our regular host, Morgan Hartfeld, who's dropped a video to us, and he's currently in time. This isn't live, by the way, but this is pre-recorded not so long ago. So yeah, 20 minutes ago. Hopefully, we'll have some audio on that.
I don't know if I hear it, but look at that. I think that's just repeating, but yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't hear any audio, but I can look at it.
But look at
afterwards. The scenery, hey?
Yeah, it's just amazing, just amazing. I'd love to. I'd love to go there. I've been to Thailand, but not to play disc golf, and it was many years ago. So yeah, it's very good. Yeah, it was a bit of a fail. Sorry, Morgan. Well, we need a bit more practice on that. Right. Now we're going to have a look at the Brooker Ave course. We're going to be having a look at the red layout, and hopefully, I don't want to labour each of these holes too much, Arne. We haven't got enough time to go through each hole. But we will have a look at some of them and see if we can get kind of a feel for them.
Yeah. Look, I think what we sort of talked about is we'll give our little MA40 spin on it, right?
That's right.
So this is definitely a.
So we're going to assume here that the MA40s are playing the red layout. Yeah. Okay, let's make that assumption. Yeah. For the purposes of going through this, because it'll apply to all of MA1 and MPO as well. So yeah. So look, this is a par 5, right?
I think that you should play. If I was your caddy, I'd be encouraging you to play it to a 6, because the prevailing wind is a headwind for this tee shot. So my advice to you as a caddy would be to try and throw to that drop zone with a mid-range, something that can hold up in the wind and stay relatively straight. Throw another mid-range to the top corner where the OB blinks off left, and then you want to
something near the B basket.
And then you're sort of within a circle 3 approach shot, and then you can go for your par or your bogey or whatnot. The key here is the staying in bounds. All right.
So, and I actually think a mid-range off the tee is probably the right play for an MPO player looking to birdie this as well, right? Because I think the big shot is perhaps on the second shot here. But anyway, right, let's move on. Yep. We can't talk about all of them, but let's have a look. Another a big-ish par 4, 188 with a Mando halfway down the fairway. Yep. Again, this is one of those holes where I don't think the Mando is really going to cause a problem or as much of a problem, providing you can still get around it.
Yeah, so you're aiming towards the BT, the drop zone to get you in a position where you can basically just throw over all of those trees. And those trees are pretty high, and it is a blind shot. But so this is why you need to do a practice round. Yeah. So I think par is achievable here, though. Yeah. 3.
Okay, number 3.
So this is the monster. This is about just throwing your most confident shot that's going to land in bounds. So the secret to this one is the prevailing wind runs right to left across this fairway.
Okay. So if that right hand side of the disc comes up from it's not the right angle for you, but it's for me, then you could see far more stability.
Yeah, so if the wind was up, you're almost throwing over you're lining up your tee shot to throw over the road into OB and let the wind bring it back into the fairway.
How big is the island? The island green, is that big. Is that a circle, or is it bigger than the circle?
No, it's bigger than, well, unless they've shrunk it. It's a pretty big area. It used to be guarded by some massive trees, and there's that hazard there that you've got to get there. So from the pole to the islands, if it is like it used to be, it's about 55, 60 meters.
Okay, so from the edge of the hazard to the pole is about
55, 60 meters. Yes. So yeah, I'd be playing this for a 6 as well. For me. Yep, keep going. Number 4, this I think is eagleable. Yeah, and I've eagled it before. It was a fluke, but I've eagled it. So tee shot pretty straight, and then you're trying to cut the corner if you can, if you've got a distance. But those guardian trees around the A basket are very catchy. So you can sort of go 1-2, pitch up, and get a birdie. I think this is one of your birdies. This is what you want to get. So number 5.
All right, number 5.
Yep. So overstable mid, something that can skip through that double mando. You've got to be pretty straight, but yeah, anything that you can get around that is pretty good. If you can end up around that drop zone, it's an accuracy shot. But yeah, I think this is another gettable birdie, but play it for par and you should be pretty safe.
I think
it's about that double mando.
Yeah. If you can get through that mando, then it sets up for the birdie shout. So the green's on a downslope.
Yeah, and it is an island. And the thing about that mando is laying up to the mando really restricts that second shot.
Right. Okay.
So you might as well just go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
But you do have an opportunity from the drop zone, if you miss the mando, to hit the island and still take a par.
This is a long par 3, even for like a pro shot here, right? 164 meters.
160 is a long one, but it's pretty open, to be honest.
Okay.
It's pretty open, and the distance of where the basket is to the edge of the road, you've got a lot of room, so they can really push it. That mando to the left doesn't really come into play.
Okay. All right.
This is a tough one, but this is one that you definitely want to birdie. Those bushes, it doesn't quite show there, but the amount of discs that I've lost in those bushes, the like flaxy type stuff. So you really got to try and land it next to the basket. It's only an 80-meter shot, but
do you take a sidearm to this? Yeah,
if I could, definitely. Yeah, to the left. There is a couple of Paula trees there as well, if I can remember. But the pros will be trying to go putter and probably almost trying to ace run this because but you have to land in to get the thing. I assume it's last inbounds. So this is one of those ones where you could just try and fire it straight at the basket, and if it goes OB beyond the basket, then you've got your 1 meter relief tap in for par.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. This one, the key one is making the mando. Yep. So, man, it's an interesting par 3. Yeah, it's the pros will be going for this in 1. They're trying to throw big spike rises just inside that mando and getting it to land by the basket.
Yep.
9.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the back corner. This is it used to be triple mando, but it's only double now. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So
straight through.
It's quite a distance. It's about 60, 70 meters to the double mando, so it is a tough one to hit. But then all of those bushes in behind really ruin that straight shot. You get through it, you're celebrating, and then it just hits one of those trees. And 10. It looks like they've potentially shifted the. Oh yeah, that's right. played it, they shifted the basket. So yeah, just forehand around the corner. This is a birdie get, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Forehand for
trying to
everyone.
do the backhand turnover because the prevailing winds, you're throwing it into it. So
So this has got the keyhole green.
yeah, so this is the one that I was talking about with Jay. This is one where you can absolutely pure drive. There's so much room there, so you can really rip on a driver. But if you land behind one of those bushes, it's a real pain in the ass
Yeah.
for your next
Yeah.
shot. And for me, yeah, I have parred it, but I am ripping my driver and getting lucky by landing in bounds 4 times and then sinking a putt. So this is one that you can play to 6 if you want to, but it's placement's key. Just work out a relative area that you want to throw each shot from.
Yeah. Everyone's just
Island,
got to have a go at it, ain't
yeah, it's pretty big as well. It's a big island, and I think it's bark.
Yeah.
It's all raised, but it is a retaining wall. So if you don't get enough on it, then it can just hit the retaining wall, and you haven't made the island. So, yeah. Graveyard hole. Yeah. So those trees on the left, put one in there, or put one further left, and you're in a swamp. Yeah.
So you want to lay up to before those shrubs, and then go round with something overstable.
Yeah. The thing about this as well that you might see is a few of the pros just skipping something off the road and in. That plays quite a bit because there's not much of a curb on that left-hand side for it to potentially hit. But this is, for a par 4, I think I'm going to say it out there, and I reckon some of the pros are going to eagle this.
Yeah, I mean that's a gettable
eagle for them.
That's yeah.
Yeah. Number 14. Yeah, this is a tough hole. But it is gettable, like especially for the green layout. But par 4, I think the pros are trying to make it up to. I mean, some of the pros are trying to get through that tunnel, but it is really leafy. So for us, we're trying to get to sort of midway before the bushes, and if you can get a wee bit further, you can go over. If you've got an arm, otherwise you're just trying to throw it straight down the tunnel and at the basket. It is a tough hole, but it's a birdie chance. Yeah, 15 used to be. So this is a few of the islands, right? Yeah. So for us, yeah, this is the one that Ben Schicker eagled against in a safari sort of showcase with Drew Gibson. But for us, staying in bounds, it's actually really tough to stay in bounds there. It's a lot skinnier than what it looks. Lay up for the rope, well, not lay up, it's probably a full driver for us, but it's just stepping stone to each corner. So
step, so drive to the path, then drive to the or lay up to the A tee, and then or the A basket, sorry, and then lay up to just before the hazard, and then go again, and then hopefully,
And this is one of those ones that our pros are probably going to try and drive the road to get to where that B basket is, and then they're probably going to try and go for it.
That B basket's 170 meters. That's a long.
True,
way.
and it is roughly into a prevailing wind. So I don't know, maybe it's an ego thing, but I still think that they're going to try and go for it. But if you are just across that road, one thing of note is if you are too far right, even if you're not OB, so if you go OB right and have to take your last inbounds, or you're too far to the right, it really restricts your second shot, your next shot. So if you're going over the road, laying up, you want to sort of be towards the left-hand side of that elbow of the B basket, so that you can see where you want to land, because that hazard catches up on you pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
16. I think this is one of the relatively new ones that I might not have played, but yeah, it's lay up, try hit the island, I suppose. Lay up. This is a full drive for me, and then try to make an island. 16. Was that not just 16? Or was that 15?
Oh, I think that.
Oh, 16 red. So
Okay.
this is 16. There's 16 green, par 4. Yeah, look, that's a birdie for the green layout, I think, for some arms. And then 16 red, sorry. Oh, yeah, just a normal one. Look, they're probably throwing a putter at this, right? Yeah, so this is a birdie for them. 17. This is a real cool hole. So that roadway on the right-hand side is where kids like little pump bike track.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so for us, we're probably trying to get as close to the road as we can get and as left as you can be. Because if you're left, and like if you're in that left-hand corner before the road, you can probably throw up another, to land in the big wide fairway in the middle, and then you've got a shot at the basket for a birdie.
Okay, and finally, hole 18.
This is a real cool hole. So this is off the it's like a little deck tee pad. Really cool. So over the road, and is it a double mando? Yeah, it's double mando. So look, I would really, it'd be pretty impressive if someone forehand skips it through that double mando and then down the line, which I think the pros like Goose with his forehand definitely could, right? Or Johnny Wake special lefty, getting that in and around. Yeah, you've just got to try again. You've got to be not too far right if you're over the road, because it really restricts that next approach shot. So
excellent. So look, it's going to be. I need to play a practice round. So I'm coming down on the Wednesday morning, flying down Wednesday morning, and then playing doubles at doubles is at Bottle Lake. So so I'm going to be playing doubles. I think. I don't know how we're gonna. I haven't talked to Brett yet, but Brett and I are the pineapple turnovers. You can look out for us in the doubles competition. So we'll be doing that, and then probably try and spend half the day at Bottle Lake and then half the day at Brooker. We'll definitely want to get a practice round in at both of them. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Right.
Good one.
Let's quickly go through the results of the New Zealand Disc Golf Open that was played at the weekend just gone, which hopefully you've seen. There's coverage on GoPro and also of MPO and also coverage of FPO. That's I think the first round is out. The second round might come out tonight. As well. So Jeremy Colling wins on a playoff against Ezra Robinson after one hole. Robert Burridge comes in third place at 16 down. Kevin Jones, stronger performance this time with a 12 down. Luke Humphreys 8 down. But that Luke Humphreys score there is a bit of an asterisk, really, because he had that 12, which was I think a 7 over par. I don't even know what that is. On one, so I mean that's going to be that was that kind of punctuated whole round 2.
100%, yeah, but he got the second highest rated round in New Zealand in the first round. Yeah, it was
1077
Ezra
52
round 2 as well. So
yeah.
Into
FPO, Holyn Handley wins by 4 shots over Emily Weatherman. This is the only event that Holyn is playing in her trip over here. So and she takes away the win. So well done to Holyn over Emily Weatherman.
With her good friend Ella Hansen as amongst the touring pros. So it was good to see her.
Yep. Simon Feasey easily wins MP40 by 18 strokes. I mean, he just walked to this division, so well done to him. Ryan Martin Gawn.
He walked to this course, right? And then the next property over from Bellaraka.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. Ryan Martin Gawn wins MA1 by 9 strokes over Josh Pratt. Byron Salisbury in third. Charlotte Dunkley wins easily in FA1, and in the best division, Tim Marshall wins by a single stroke over James Sutton and Levi Gojak, and Jack Turner in tied for third. Adwina Mandasodza wins in FA40. Andy Brewster wins in MA50 over Chris Kingsnorth and Russell Meal. And down in MA2, Matthew Stowell takes out the win against Sam Hitchcock and Samuel Den Hartog. Lacey Ann Sims in FA2 over Casey Eder. And MA3, Luke Kennedy wins by 3 strokes over Tyler Elliott. Down in juniors, Zach Muir wins MJ18 handsomely with an 882, 881 and a 905 rated round. So well done to Zach.
Shout out to the Auckland Disc Golf Club as well for the amount of work that has gone into that course. It was looking incredible on the coverage. Looks like the sort of course that would be really tough to maintain as well. So must have been a monumental effort getting that ready for that tournament. So well done to them.
Yeah. Now, before we head over to the tipping for the nationals, which we'll come to in a second, if you've been following all of the Instagrams and the Facebooks and whatever else of some of the touring pros, looks like they're having a great time, Arne.
Yeah. So shout out to my Queenstown family, disc golf family. I was walking out of a meeting today and saw Ben Wheellake with Goose and Taylor with some rental bikes. It looked mountain bikes, and I saw them up at the on the Instas on the luge with Mr. Stu Gilchrist that works up there and doing some canyon swings with Roberts and so it looks like the Queenstown crew have really looked after them, much like everywhere else in the country has. I know Total did a whole lot of work, and I believe the pros had a good time at a concert or something on Sunday night. So everywhere they're going, they're being well looked after. So well done, New Zealand. Christchurch, your turn next week.
Indeed. One of the things that that seems to be a bit of a running theme throughout the whole trip is their enjoyment of a mince and cheese pie now, or a meat pie, which I was told in the green room today, you can't buy a meat pie in America. And
there's probably somewhere that you can.
Can people confirm or deny this? I mean, I just don't believe that. Like, it's not a thing, right? Like,
so this is where it comes.
Surely it's a thing, isn't it?
I then ripped straight back at Matt and said that you can't buy a meat pie in the UK. So
you can buy a meat pie in the UK. You can buy mince and cheese pies in the UK. I lived there for 35 years. You can definitely buy a meat pie in the UK. It was a lot bigger then.
All I got told to eat was when I said, "Does anyone have a pie?" No, we've got Cornish pasties.
Right. Okay. So quick poll in chat.
Yeah.
Arne is going to describe his meat pie, and I'm going to describe my Cornish pasty.
Yep.
And then I want you to vote in chat as to which one sounds the most appetizing. So Arne, do you want to give us what's your meat pie?
Yep. So I've had a new pie take over the greatest pie that I've ever had, and it's a Sanger's pie from down. Must be from around here, but I've only had it in Queenstown. Just beautiful pastry, and then the meat and gravy filling in it is just next level. Absolutely next level. And I'm a simple soul. I don't like potato on my pies. I just like my meat and gravy, cheese, but it's all about the pastry, the care and the butteriness of the pastry.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
That's something we can both agree on, is that the pastry maketh the pie.
Yes.
So is a meat pie not a thing in America? Closest thing is a pot pie, but that's in a dish, not handheld. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Been to the US 3 times and never seen a meat pie. So look, I mean, there you go. Go to America with your mince and cheese pie recipe and make a killing. Is what it seems. But anyway, if you are ever in the UK and you want something better than a meat pie, then you might stumble across a Cornish pasty. Now, there are not the sort of traditional Cornish pasties, but there is a version. I think it's called a miner's pasty, right? Which is the thing that I would direct you to. A miner's pasty, which is this. It's a Cornish pasty shape, right? So it's like that half moon shape, about the size of a disc, more or less. And one of the rim of the pasty is like curled over solid pastry. right? So if you like your pastry, and I do like a bit of pastry, then you just got a big. And the idea is that for people who used to work down the mines, you used to hold. That's what they used to hold on to, right? And then they could discard it afterwards if they wished. Like dirty hands, whatever. Now, the miner's pasty was different in that it didn't have as much potato in it, and I completely get it, right? You don't. Last thing you want in a pasty is to be heavily potatoized. What you really want is lots of mince, and with a miner's pasty, about 2/3 to 3/4 of the pasty is filled with mince and onion, whatever. And the other 1/3 to 1/4 is like apples in applesauce, right? Like you'd find in an apple crumble or something, or an apple pie.
Don't do that to me.
No. This is great. You can imagine my mind was blown when I first saw this. It was fantastic. I haven't had one for years, and because I can't find anywhere in New Zealand that would do this kind of.
Pie has to have tomato sauce on it. Can't have a meat pie must have tomato sauce on it.
Well, hold on, because we're going a little bit off piece for a minute. And so the miner's pasty, I think, is a fantastic thing and is better than a meat pie. Are you team pie or team pasty? Put it into the chat now. # team pie or team pasty. We'll come.
Depends on it.
We'll come back and have a look at what the scores are after we've done the tipping. I suspect
we forgot to give Brooker. I suggested a new rating for courses earlier when we were having our chat, which is how many ibuprofens out of 5 for the MA40 that would I give Brooker. And so I have given it a 3.5 ibuprofens out of 5 because there's no hills and there's not much in the way of blackberry. Right, so it's pretty flat, but it is long. Right, so the long I've given it 3. It's very long, pretty hard on your arm if you're throwing drivers or even mids all day. But there's no hills and not much in the way of blackberry. So I'm giving it a 3.5 ibuprofens out of 5. So I'm interested to hear your review on that. Maybe not.
Well, I shall let you know. I shall take plenty with me so that worst comes to the worst. We shall see. Plenty of people who won't need ibuprofens, I suspect, is our MPO field, and here are the odds for the MPO field in at Nationals this weekend. Now you can find all of this and our tipping competition on sweetchainlive.com. So head over and place your bets now. Ezra Robinson goes into the tournament following 3 second place finishes in a row as favourite at 6.7, and you'll find place odds at 2.5. Robert Burridge and Jeremy Colling in second and third favourite spots. Braden Sides and Aaron Gossage outside of that. The Levi Stout leads the Kiwis 19-1, and odds of 6 to place, which might be of interest to some people.
Does like Bottle Lake.
He does like Bottle Lake, so I mean we'll see. Bottle Lake is round 2 and 3, so we're gonna have to see if we can if he's leading after that, and then see what goes into the final round. In FPO, Ella Hansen is the favourite here at 3.7. The data analytics team are telling me that it's going to be Ella Hansen, Emily Weatherman, and Sophia Donica who are going to make up the podium.
An interesting take, because Taylor definitely. I mean, I suppose if they're going to change the layout, but Taylor Trosek has the arm for Brooker.
She does, but can she keep it in bounds? I think will be the question that people ask. So we'll see. The highest rated, the highest ranked Kiwi in the field is Michelle Simpson, who is at 35-1. In MP40, Simon Feasy is the odds-on favourite here at 2.5. Place odds of 1.2. Do you see anything getting in the way of Simon Feasy here?
Yeah, I kind of do. How does Young play in the woods?
Yeah, Young's pretty useful in the woods.
Yeah.
I don't. I think his place odds
Yeah,
is
good
a
value.
pretty good
Yeah.
draw. Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, look, I think Hemi will give it a good run. I think Mikey could give it a good run. I don't,
Hmm.
in my opinion, I don't think. I mean, Simon is probably as hot as he is because of his form recently, right?
Yeah, yeah,
There's a recency bias to this, but
there is. Yeah.
look, Hemi plays the Gardens every other day, plus he plays Tuckers on those
Mm.
other days, so he can throw and he can play in the woods. So I think I'm gonna stick some cheeky money on Hemi to win that.
That's it. That's it. And if you're wondering, well, where do I get my coins? Well, you get a load of coins when you create an account. But everybody who has already got an account will be getting a bonus 500 coins as a stipend on the
Yes.
1st of February. So sign up before then if you want to make sure that you get that stipend as well as your intro coins. And yeah, get your tips in for nationals. Chris Dixon is the favourite in MP50 at odds of 2-1 over Dom Hayden and Mike Foley, and then in MP60, Jim Oates is the odds-on favourite here at 2.2. I don't see this going anywhere else, honestly.
Like you get a good return on 1.1 for a place for Jim Oates, right? That's real good return.
That's it. In MA1, Magnus Davidson is the favourite at 11.3, and this just goes to show how big, how wide and deep the field is in MA1. In MA1, we've got 3 players in the top 25 all competing. Triangle K and Ryan Martin Gorn also playing.
Yeah, look,
So
Magnus's money at 4s for a place is such good money around those 2 courses. Bottle Lake, like he is a master around, and then he knows Brooker. Well, he whipped the pants off me when I played him. So I mean, not that I'd be able to win this, but I think 4s for the place there. But yeah, it's worth it on the win as well. I don't see anyone touching him.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. I think Ty can play well, and obviously Ryan got the win in Auckland. So yeah, we shall see how that goes. Into FA1, Alison Tweedy at 1.5 to win. Honestly, I can't see this going anywhere. I mean, that's got to be pretty good value, even.
Yeah, it's great value.
Into MA40, so Gary Jarvis and Matt Broughton are the joint favourites here at odds of 9.8. Stu Gilchrist, who has won quite a few tournaments recently in MA40, is at 12-1. James Sutton is who came second in Auckland, is at 17s. Any value here?
Kelvin Cummings to place.
Sorry?
Kelvin Cummings to place.
Kelvin Cummings to place. Yep, that's
Stuart
a fair
Gilchrist
shout.
to place. I think Matt Broughton, to me, Matt Broughton should be the hot favourite for here because dude's got a cannon for starters.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see whether that actually trips him up. I don't know. Gary's got the kind of the balance of both, so I think that's why he's in that position.
Yeah.
But we shall see. We shall see.
If Brett can shake the woods hoodoo out of his brain, his big fear of the trees, then he's good enough player to win that as well.
Yeah, and I was speaking to Phil McLeod, and he at odds of 10s to place is a fair shout. Given we were talking quite in depth about what the course would play like, and it will be resisting his temptation to throw the big throw. Is what he recognised. So we shall see. We shall see. FA40, Kath Headley's favourite at 1.5, place odds of 1. They're basically saying she's nailed on to finish in the top 3. So if you want to put your coins onto CAF, then she's leading the way in FA40. MA50, Stephen Dorey is the favourite here at 3.3. Hayden Shaw at 6.2 and Steve Lawson at 11s. Those look pretty tempting.
50? There's no way Hayden Shaw is 50. That is, there's no way. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I will not have it.
You're putting a fast one on us, is he?
Will not have it. But man, what? Looking at that, look at that top four. What a league card that would be. Oh, what a division.
It's getting pretty strong.
Feltner. Yeah, I'm a long way from MA50. Thank you, Tom. Yeah.
It's a deep division as well. It goes far. It goes very deep. FA50, Sue Brown is the favourite here at 2.6, place odds of 1.1. Stephen Dorey's just chirped up in the chat, says, I'm injured, so bet elsewhere. So there we are. So there isn't an option to lay bets in our tipping, which is probably quite wise given the insider information some people have, but we'll see. MA60, Andy Brewster is the favourite here at 2.5, following his win in Auckland. Chris Davies at 5.8. FA60, Donna Cormack favourite. In an MA2, Matthew Stowell is 12.4 and Kevin Carpenter at 12.5.
There's your value. There's your value.
So often MA2 and MA3 can provide the best value because everybody is so tightly packed in terms of quality, and anyone, it takes less for somebody to play above their regular game in order to take out a win in MA2 or MA3 at the kind of odds that if you saw those odds in MPO, then someone's got to do something real special for them to take out the win. Whereas in MA2 and MA3, because the field is so much more condensed,
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's going to hold Kevin back is coming back from a 2-week swing in Thailand, and because he's done so well today, the following few days, the last days of his tournament, may be quite alcohol heavy.
Jet lag or MA3, Joseph Ball is favourite 11.5, Stephen Kelly 14s, David Frost at 16s, Alistair Upston, who had a hot round this week, at 18s. Yet again, another huge division that goes all the way down. So there'll be some value in the place bets there, I'm sure. FA3, Christina Orr is the favourite here at 5.2 over Jessica Robert, and in MA4, it's Ashley Poi is the favourite over James Lear. Bailey Gardner is the favourite in MJ18 over Levi Simpson. MJ15. Sebastian Stridham is the favourite here over Connor Rance. And in FJ12, Hayley Rance is the favourite over Caitlin Murray. Head over.
I've got one more value bet that I missed because she's down the bottom. Sapphire Wido to place in FPO.
Do you know what? I was going to say the same thing. And the reason why is because she tends to play like one event a year, which is the last year it was the Bottle Lake Open where she came second in FPO
and beat Hayley and whatnot.
She beat everybody except Juliana.
Yeah. She was leading that tournament for a bit as well, right? So
that's right. So I think that's a fair shout. There to on Sapphire to place. I still think she'd have to play incredible disc golf to do that.
Yeah.
But she probably knows the course, and at 40-1 for the place, I think a few cheeky coins on there could well be out.
Yeah.
Could well be the way to do it. At 40-1 could be a difficult one to pass up on. Right, let's have a look at Team Pasty or Team Pie. I got so Team Pie got 1, 2, 3. A vote from Tom, which is cheating. 4, 5. and me and Craig. But Craig says Team Pasty for the novelty value. Don't need sympathy votes in this. And I voted Team Pasty, so I'm on my own. I'll have all the pasties. Anyway, right. Let's have a look at Disc Golf Valley then. A few people have been playing today. I got the +8. Arn, 6 down.
Yep.
Very good. And Blakey with an 8 on hole 6 for a 10 under par. Arn with 6 down. Kelvin with 8 down. So well done to Blakey for taking out this week. Right, let's have a look at the power rankings, which have, there's been a few changes in the power rankings over the last week or so. Again, if you head on to over to sweetchainlive.com, then you'll find the power rankings updated more or less every, normally the next day after the tournaments are done. Michaela Kerr, I'll get it right, drops 1 spot to 4th place. And Charlotte Dunkley drops 1 spot to 12th.
Be a lot of movement in this next time, right? After the Nationals, because our friends would have played enough tournaments to qualify, maybe? No.
No, they won't have done, but you will see movement because Juliana Corva, Michelle Simpson, Alison Tweedy, Michaela Kerr, Hayley Flintoff, Victoria Speller, Kath Headley, they're all playing Nationals, right? So the top 7 are all playing Nationals, so we can expect there to be a little bit of movement there. And heading over to the men's division, Paul Oman joins the rankings in at 7. That's largely, entirely down to that he's played 5 events in the last calendar year, including some of the events that I remember the calendars about a week later last year than it is. So this year, Simon Feedy's up 3 spots to 5th. Other shouts out to Sam Hitchcock, who is up 183 spaces, and Ruben Orange, who also climbs up quite a few as well. So well done to them. Ryan Martin Gorn climbs 79 spots to 25th.
Can I give a shout out to my mate, Ewan Craig, for his climbing? He climbed 12 spots this week. And he came 12 spots, and I'm still holding him off in the rankings. So, but well done, Ewan.
You are. So Arn, you're ranked 242 at the moment, and Ewan is ranked 253. So you can't really get. You haven't got much room to give, honestly. One more tournament, and it could be all over.
Oh yeah, I'm not playing Nationals, Ewan is, but look, just remember, people, you got an expert analysis of the Brooker Ave course by the 242nd highest ranked Hempier and male player in the country. Appreciate it.
That's value right there. So look, finally, before we go, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Head over to if you enjoy what we do and you enjoy the tipping and the power rankings, all that kind of stuff, then and you want to show some support, then you can head over to patreon.com/sweetchainlive. There's an exclusive Patreon video from Morgan. There's an in the bag from Morgan Hartfeld over there right now. So if you want to go and take a look at that, then it's exclusively for Patreon members. And there'll be more in the bags going on from producer Tom and myself as well. So if you want to see what an incredibly average MA40 player has in their bag, then stay tuned for that. Quick also preview of next week's show. So next week we'll be coming live from Christchurch on Thursday night, same day, same time. But we will have played a day of Nationals. So we shall know some results, some scores. We'll be able to bemoan the success or otherwise of the of the day, and be licking our wounds or jumping for joy. Probably the former. And so we'll all be in the same place, I think, for that one. So yeah. And we've got Ella Hansen joining us as well on the show, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that more or less does it for today. Arn, any parting thoughts?
It's been good to be on for the last 3 weeks. Love being on.
Absolutely.
Good to have old mate back. I don't know if he's back next week, if you're doing it live from Christchurch, but yeah, you won't see me. But yeah, I'm always around. So thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much for joining us over the last 3 weeks while Morgan's been sunning himself in Thailand. It's been a pleasure having you join us and having your insights and your NZDG hat when it's been put on.
Luck to those
It's
pros
been very good
playing
as well.
over the next 3 days in the Samui Swine. Some big name players over there playing. So good luck to Seb and Morgan and the rest of the guys playing the pro crew. So maybe
Absolutely.
lay off the drinks a wee bit and you won't DNF Morgan. So
Outrageous. Well, look, yeah, very best of luck to everybody playing at Samui Swine. Very best of luck to everybody playing in doubles, nationals doubles. The Pineapple Turnovers will be chasing you down on Wednesday morning, and to everybody playing at nationals on the Thursday. Wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.